Hello, I'm Richard Higgs and welcome to Higgsy's Handy Hints. Partner for Windows has been around since 1998 and in that time it's built up a huge amount of functionality. Even firms who've used it for over 20 years probably only know 60 to 70% of what's available. For firms newer to Partner for Windows, they face an even greater challenge. I've worked with Partner for Windows for around 22 years now, and in that time, I've always sought to ensure that when I demonstrate the software to potential new clients, it comes across as being intuitive, slick, and easy to use. We also used to use it in-house as our CRM, so during that time, I always wanted to make sure that my own use of it was as efficient as it could be to save me time. Overhearing clients at the recent Access Point Innovators Forum, it was interesting that some were talking about functionality that others clearly had never heard of before. And some of those firms have been using it for 15, even over 20 years in some cases. So as I came away from that forum, I thought, wouldn't it be helpful to produce a series of short articles for the Partner for Windows community on how to get more out of the software? Higgs's Handy Hints is the result. So over the coming months, the topics we're going to be covering will include things like shortcuts to reduce clicks and improve efficiency, showing you how to configure options in Partner for Windows to give you a better user experience, make the software work the way that you want to work. Look at the searching options, how you can easily find the data you really need. Conflict and duplicate checking, how do we use it and how do we interpret the results? And a look at the various time recording options that are inbuilt within Partner for Windows. How do we best use them and in what circumstances are they best deployed? There'll be more, but also we'd welcome any suggestions for additional topics that you'd like to pass over. In this first episode, we're going to be looking at shortcuts, how we can save you time, reduce those mouse clicks and enable you get the information that you need quickly and easily. So let's have a look at helping you reduce all those clicks. We all know that P4W can sometimes be a little daunting, especially to a new user. So anything we can do to make it as intuitive as possible will always be advantageous. To help with this, there are a number of useful P4W shortcuts available via the F keys. If anybody knows a shortcut resulting from using F1, please let me know, but I've tried and I can't find one anywhere in Partner for Windows. So starting with F2, F2 allows you to enter part of the client code into the relevant field when accessing a record in Partner for Windows, and that will then list all of the clients beginning with the letter or letters that you've entered. So to illustrate this, if on this manual timesheet I put in the letter B and press the F2 key, you can see what it's doing. It's then generating a list for me of any clients beginning with the letter B, or sorry, any client codes beginning with the letter B. So clearly this only works if you have an alphanumeric numbering system, but most Partner for Windows firms adopted that type of system over the years. If you put an additional letter in, it will filter down further. So starting with BE on my system, I've only got 2 clients with codes beginning with the letters BE. So that's F2, and that can be used on any screen where you're being asked to enter the client code, not just on manual time recording. F3 in a number of screens, predominantly the time recording screen and the financial posting screen, as well as things like partner mail. F3 will repeat the previously used client. So if you've already done some filing or posting through that particular screen and you want to use the same client, then by pressing the F3 key, as you can see here, it will call up the previously used client. So quite useful if you're doing a number of related postings or filings for the same client, maybe into different matters. F3 does something slightly different in the case screen. So if we just come out of this for a moment, then F3 is used to call up the dictation function. It used to be used very much with Big Hand, but unfortunately that's fallen by the wayside over the years with Big Hand not updating their API to enable us to use later versions of the product with Partner for Windows. So that will now call up the advanced dictation function by pressing F3 on the case screen. Unfortunately, I don't have that installed on my particular version of Partner for Windows here, but you can see if I press F3, it would call up the advanced dictation service if you had that installed on your system. F4, if I just clear the timesheet for a second, F4 again on a number of screens throughout Partner for Windows will recall the previously used client and matter. So again, perhaps if you work in the accounts department or you input time recording on behalf of somebody else, then if you're doing a number of postings for the same matter or filing a number of emails for the same matter, F4 can be quite useful in pre-filling that information for you, as you can see across the top of the screen. F5 works predominantly within the case management screen or the financial ledger screen to refresh the screen. So in a use case scenario there, I've had this particular case screen open for some while, and in the meantime an email has been filed by somebody else using partner mail. So I may want to perhaps periodically during the course of the day see if that particular email I've been waiting for has come in to a colleague and whether or not that's been scanned into the system. So by pressing F5, you can see that that has then refreshed the case management screen, and we can now see the email that I filed some time ago from partner mail appearing in the screen. And just the same with the financial ledger. So if you're waiting for a particular posting to be placed against that financial ledger by the accounts team, you can keep the ledger open and press F5 to refresh it from time to time. F6, I would say, is probably one of the most valuable shortcuts in partner for Windows. So again, let me just clear down the timesheet. F6 will call up your list of recently used matters. And if you think about your typical working day, you'll be going probably into a subset of matters that are most current, most active at any one time. So F6 is invaluable, and certainly one that I used all the time when I was using partner for Windows in-house at Ticket. The default is to present your last up to 30 matters, but that can be adjusted in system settings by your administrator up to a maximum of 500 matters. So if you're already using F6 but finding that it's a little bit limited in being only 30, that can be adjusted all the way up to 500 matters, which hopefully covers most people's requirements more than enough. And again, once it brings up the list, just select from that and that will then populate the screen that you're in. So again, time recording, financial posting, partner mail, invaluable in partner mail because generally you're filing emails into the most active matters that you're currently work on. But really anywhere again where you're being asked for a client and matter, F6 will call up the most recent matters. For those of you that use the partner task panel, of course, you've got recent matters in the task panel, but I found the F6 was a quicker way of getting at those recent matters, particularly, as I say, in functions such as partner mail. F7 is a case screen function, so F7 will call up the quick step menu, so those shortcut documents that have been configured on your system to be used throughout the system. And just bear in mind that that will only work at matter level, despite my best efforts over many years, because we always used to work predominantly at entity level in partner for Windows at Ticket. F7 quick step functionality was never enabled at entity level case management, but it is very much part of the matter level case management shortcuts. F8, again, a case management shortcut that will call up the posting screen, and the benefit you can see straight away there is it pre-fills in the posting slip with the client and matter information held against that particular file. F9, that will call any linked matters. So within partner Windows, you can link entities and or matters. In this case, we can see here Anna's divorce is linked to a separate will matter, which is being run by our probate team. So we can keep an eye on the status of those two matters being linked together. So F9 will call those up, and F9 will also allow you to create a new link from within the case management system if you so wish. F10 will call up the data mining function. There is a separate Higgsy's handy hints articles coming, which covers the whole of the searching functionality within partner Windows. So keep an eye out for that one. But at the moment, F10 will call up the various elements of data mining from within the case management screen as an alternative to calling it up via the menu. They're not always easy to remember, these function keys, particularly if you're new to partner Windows. So certainly whilst you're in case management, if you right click on any of the white space, a sub-menu of the available functions within case management is presented to you on the screen. And you'll see here there's an additional one, display client balances, and one that I actually overlooked there, the open file viewer, the F12 function. So let's just look at that for a moment. If I highlight this particular email here and press F12, that will call up the preview function to be able to review that particular document on the screen. Driving license, as you can see here. So a number of helpful shortcuts available via the F key function. Also, whilst we're in case management, there are several shortcuts worth mentioning. So you've got Alt S. Some of these I'll show, others I'll explain. So Alt S is insert a step, or in plain English, insert a new document or item into the case file. So that will bring up your list of available templates and documents. Alt F, insert a freestyle step, again in plain English, adding a post-it note or a reminder, or just a general note onto the file at that point in the case. And then you've got Alt T, which is to take a step. So having called in the template that you want to use, Alt T will then go ahead and process that step, and Alt C to complete the step, i.e. close it off, complete the outstanding action, and so on. So all of those, again, are shortcuts available from you from the case management screen. Hopefully there's something here that you didn't already know about and which will be really useful to help you and your colleagues get more out of Partner for Windows. But if there are any shortcuts that you guys use that I haven't mentioned, then please share them with us, because after all, the more we collaborate, the more we get out of the software. These episodes are also documented, so for those of you who prefer to read this sort of information rather than watch a video, then those documents will be released in conjunction with each episode. I'll see you at the next episode of Higgsy's Handy Hints, but in the meantime, if you'd like to know more about the add-on functionality or services that Access Point can offer to Partner for Windows clients, then do please check out our brand new website at accesspoint.legal, or drop us an email to contact@theaccesspoint.co.uk. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you very soon.